Relationships in public have been going downhill more and more recently, and today I have a viral video to take a look at. We're going to take a look at the replies of this viral video. I'm going to react to them, and as always, guys, I would love to know what you think about the whole conversation that we have down below afterwards. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Let's take a look at this tweet from Non-Aesthetic Things. Girl screams at her boyfriend at the airport, and this went viral, and it's a little bit unfortunate. I'm going to be pausing throughout the video to avoid copyright over here, guys. So just bear with me there.
It's funny! It's funny! I hate you!
She's screaming, "I hate you" at her boyfriend. I think it's important to note that as far as I'm aware, there's no actual context to what she's screaming about, but regardless, this isn't the place to do it, man. And you can see he's just sitting there.
Like, it's not funny.
Yeah, and she's mad that she's getting recorded. Like, just look at those eyes, man. Just look at those eyes. I think that tells you everything that you need to know, to be honest with you. If there was anything serious about, like, I would understand making a public scene if this guy was maybe abusive, if he kidnapped her, but you just know that's clearly not the case here. And he just does not want to do that in public. He does not want the scene. He obviously does not want to be recorded because this is pretty much every single man's worst nightmare, is being disrespected by your significant other in public. I would like shrivel up and die inside if this ever happened to me. You need to. And this is the issue, and this is something that we're going to get into, is the issue is we no longer live in a society where you can command respect in your relationship. The respect is only allowed to be commanded one way in the relationship. And I don't mean commanded as in, hey, you sit here and you do what I say. I don't mean that in that sense, but just the people don't have the decency now. And one party is allowed to scream at the other party and make a scene like this in public. And I believe it's quite frankly disgusting. This should be a conversation that they should have at home.
Dude, no, you are rushing me to the point of when I really got sick.
So she got sick because he was rushing her. Okay. And he said we were going to miss our flight. We were going to miss our flight, so he was rushing her. That I wholeheartedly believe, especially with this like basket case and the way that she's behaving over here, right?
I hate you. You're a loser. You're a loser.
Yeah, and obviously with the music there, I'm not going to be playing it, but she's screaming in his face, "You're a loser." And this guy, I would have moved if I was this guy, by the way, but you can just tell by the way he looks, he wants no part of it. He was saying that we were going to miss our flight if I wasn't rushing you, and just the entitlement of some people, man. It's crazy to me that people can make scenes like this in public, but this is the point that we've reached where it's totally okay. And if this were to reach the proper audience, you would be like, oh my god, like the girl standing up for herself, that's great. But in reality, he probably was saying, hey, we're gonna miss our flight, we need to go, and then she was just going crazy. So let's take a look at some of the top replies, some of the top quotes. Let's see how Twitter is reacting to this. So Craig Chamberlain had this to say: "There aren't enough red flags on the planet to warn him against this one. Run, man, run." And it's entirely true. Like, there's nothing that you can do. I don't suggest he reacts in any other way. Just leave her. And I'm typically not one to just say, hey, you should leave your significant other because of a fight. I think you need to work things out. I think that's what you need to do as partners. But this is something that should be a deal breaker for every guy. This is something that you should absolutely not tolerate. And again, I don't mean not tolerate it in the sense where you should retaliate about this, but take yourself out of that situation. It's just, I can't imagine how many times something like this has happened. If she's willingly screaming at him like that in the airport, "You're a loser and I hate you." Why would you stay with somebody like that? It's crazy. Let's continue on to Elena Ruiz Poet. "Imagine how she treats him when they're alone. No one deserves this." I don't know, man. People do deserve that if they really do deserve it, but it didn't seem like it. It seemed like he was just telling her, hey, we don't want to miss our flight over here, right? And this is the interesting thing over here, okay? And this is where I'm standing as well. "Imagine how she treats him when they were alone. No one deserves this. You all are quick to judge. She's probably exploding after he had been poking the bear for hours. I need the whole story. I'm not going to judge because she just had an anger outburst. Some people tolerate a lot of crap until they explode." Okay. Is that not... Look at the way that this girl's reacting. This is not a poking the bear type situation. This is a crazy situation. You could just tell the difference. And this is the thing where we've reached with the internet today. And I understand. Like, okay, I understand. You're quick to judge. I get that. I get the logic there. But the eyeball test is good enough sometimes. If you have a decently high IQ, the eyeball test can tell you everything that you need to know. Let me bring you back over to the first video and bring you back to the way that this girl was looking. This is all I needed to see. That's all I needed to see. My eyeballs tell me that she's going crazy, okay? That's all that I need to see. Some people tolerate a lot until they explode. That's also true, but I don't think that's the case in this scenario. Could I be wrong? Possibly, but I think it's like a 98%. I would ballpark it at 98% that I'm correct over here. Let's continue on to America memed. Guy needs to leave her at the airport. That's kind of where I'm at over here. Just go home. Just go home. Like, don't deal with it. Don't retaliate. Don't yell back. It's going to lead to nothing. It's going to lead to nothing but horrible, horrible situations. Let's continue on. Bro needs to book a new flight to a new city in the opposite direction of that train wreck. I hope they don't live together, man, because that's crazy. But then again, I also don't feel bad for guys like this if this is a regular thing. Like, it's one thing, and this is where I'm saying I'm not quick to judge, okay? If this is the first time that something like this happened, then yeah, just leave her. But if this girl is comfortable enough to continuously screaming, which I imagine happens more often than not, I would imagine that something like this happened before and she got away with it, then I don't feel bad for him. He's staying in the relationship. He's willingly staying in the relationship. And there are a lot of guys out there that get off on this degradation type thing. Now, by the looks of him, he didn't look like he was enjoying it at all. He didn't want to do this here, and he was just trying to have her collect herself, which is not okay to say. Insane. Let's continue on to another post by Ambar Stiff MRA. No pussy is worth this. Understand this simple thing, guys. Avoid relationships in this modern era. You never know which cycle you will end up with. There's one correct thing and one incorrect thing about this, okay? No pussy's worth this. That's true. That's entirely true. There's always somebody else out there, and there's a lot of guys who will deal with things like this just to get some bucks. I don't think that's correct. I think that you need to check yourself a little bit if you are dealing with something like this to get, you know, what you want to get. But there's this big push online right now to avoid relationships in the modern era. I understand where that's coming from. I understand that it's more difficult, and I understand that you're going to run into girls like this. But I hate it, man, that people are trying to get guys to... Your happiness from your life is going to come from getting married and having kids, but you need to have a relationship with the right person. Myself and so many close people around me, like, I will say having a kid and being married has been the greatest thing to ever happen to me. Ever. I can't imagine not being it. I have the best girl in the entire world, and I wholeheartedly believe that, and she does nothing but improve my life. I can't imagine life without her. Is it difficult to find somebody like that? Absolutely, but they're out there. What are you going to do? Just sit back and be single for the rest of your life? That doesn't make sense to me, and I don't like the fact that there's a big push online right now to just, hey, you need to completely avoid dating. I understand the dating scene is messed up, man, but good people exist. Good girls are not on the internet. Good girls are not going viral for screaming. Good girls just want, and I mean good girl in the sense where, like, somebody who is good. I don't mean that in any sexual type of way, right? But they exist. They're just quiet, and they live life to themselves, and they want what you want, man. It's true. They're out there. Is it more difficult to find? Yes, absolutely. But you can't give up, man. Ridiculous. Men nowadays have zero self-respect, and it's so embarrassing. I see too many men accepting and excusing their women's bad behavior. Reminder that she would slap you and leave if you act like that towards her, and rightly so. You too do the same, idiot. I'm having trouble understanding that last part right there. You two do the same. If this tweet's saying to retaliate physically, then I completely disagree with that. The problem is we live in a world today where men are forced to excuse people's bad behavior. The only thing you can do is leave. But even then, let's say you made the mistake, and I don't mean that getting married is a mistake, but getting married to a woman like this is a mistake. Then what's he supposed to do? Then he has to excuse it. You can't just retaliate. And I'm not saying it's okay, but we live in a world where it's okay for women to act like this, especially in public, because what's he going to do? What can he do? He can only excuse himself from the situation. He can't retaliate. He can't yell back, or else he'll be the villain of the day. He can't do that. You just need to and I think it comes from guys being too desperate, man. Getting a relationship like this, dealing with all the crap, and I guarantee you she behaves like this at home. I guarantee you. And he takes it and takes it and takes it. And he just, like, look at this again. Like, he clearly does not want to be part of it, okay? Relax. Like, look at, like, you can just tell. Again, the eyeball test is enough. And I understand, like, I know what people are going to come from. You can't judge. You can't say this. You can't say that. Studies show this. Eyeballs are good enough half the time. And in this scenario, eyeballs are absolutely good enough. She has no care for anybody else who's listening. She's probably wanting the attention. The guy clearly doesn't want to be part of it.
You're good because of you.
I hate you. I hate you. That's crazy. That's crazy. So if he doesn't excuse himself from that relationship, then I don't know what to tell him. I don't feel bad for him at all. I don't really feel bad for him unless this is the first time that's happened, but this is the point where we can't judge. I'd love to know what you guys think about this down below. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for watching. If you are interested in continuing taking a look at trending topics, we just made a video talking about the Hawk Tua girl, Miss Hawk potentially getting a reality show. You can watch that right here, guys. I will see you over there or in the next video. Take care.